New skill slot. That means I'm getting a mantra. Alright, I'll go ahead and put that on. As you can see here, the conviction skill slot is all of your mantras. Now some of these really make a lot of sense the way they do them, although yeah, these would all be defensive. Some of these really do make sense, so that's where I like this new UI, is when they do make sense. But some of these really don't make sense. The Witch Doctor, I think, is one of them that doesn't make a lot of sense. The Demon Hunter happened to have just Strafe and Sentry, which I really couldn't agree with, and I could see them being swapped. But I'm hoping they really tweak it a little bit more as far as which abilities are where. I mean, the UI is made now, so if they wanted to swap the abilities and where they were, I imagine that would be a fairly simple task. So we may see that. Really depends on if we see another beta build. But let's move on to Mantra of Evasion. This has been changed. So Mantra of Evasion, recite a mantra that grants you and all allies within 40 yards a 15% chance to dodge attacks. It lasts 3 minutes. For 3 seconds after activation, a second effect grants an additional 15% chance to dodge. So it becomes a very active ability. I talked about that before. Again, I'll just go over it real fast. It's a passive that you can use much like an aura on a paladin, but you can still use it as a spirit spender in situations where you might be fighting a boss or a lot of monsters. You can just click it real fast, and there you go. You get 3 seconds of 15% additional, so you've got 30% chance to dodge when you hit it for 3 seconds, and you can keep hitting it. It costs a 25 spirit. Obviously you can't spam it too much, but it does give you a defensive cooldown that you can use. Now, it has been changed. The chance to dodge bonus has been decreased from 25% down to 15%. So it's about a 40% nerf there. And the additional secondary bonus was also 25 down to 15. 40% nerf again. But let's face it, when you put those two together, 25 and 25, you're looking at a 50% chance to dodge when you click that on. That's amazing mitigation when you think about it. Half the things that should hit you don't. You can avoid like half of the Skeleton King's hits. I can see why they would have done that. I really can. So not something I'm really concerned about as far as nerfs are concerned. This one, like many of the others that I've seen, makes sense in the long run and for high level play. I can just pop that on whenever I want. You can see the second buff in my buff bar here. I'll just go ahead and turn it on one more time. And there you go, 15 seconds. And as you can see, it's not taking a lot of my spirit. I'm getting it back fairly quickly, so I can just keep using it. Just kind of combine it with my other abilities. Kaboom. I just really like the shockwave of that third hit. It even sounds powerful if you listen to it. Hopefully with this new microphone I won't have to do a lot of noise removal. Actually, when I did a test recording, it sounded pretty good. I don't even think I have to do any noise removal at all as compared to the other one, which had a constant hissing on it. So I should be able to avoid that and maybe even get the game sounds to be up a little clearer. Level 2.
The crown is near.
I wonder. No, I don't have enough range to try and get a bunch of broken items in a row. Come on out, Mangamaw. That's pretty nice. The dash actually puts me behind him, so if I can see a big strike coming, I can sometimes use it to my advantage.
Back to this world.
I don't have enough spirit.
And that, as they say, is that. Moving along fairly quickly through level 9, about halfway there to level 10. I may be online to, or in line to hitting level 11 before the Skeleton King. Let's go ahead and hit the last crypt here, just for some monsters to kill. I already know that we won't have an event because we already found the Patriarch's bones. There should still be plenty of zombies for me to take out. Any of these going to be better? I've got a 7.2 in one hand. This is a 7.5. I can hold Alt to see the other one, right? Yep, okay. So there we go. More damage with that magical dagger. Goes from 5.4 to 7.5. So just so you know, all I do is hold Alt and the equipped item changes to what's on the offhand. So that is probably what I'm going to do. Let's see if there's anything better. I do have a die bow that gives me 10.4, which in the end would be more DPS than either one than combining these. But it doesn't have the benefit of plus experience. It would also reduce my attack speed. So let's go ahead and put that here. Getting lucky with the experience gear, which is nice. So I went up to a 11.6 from 9.9. Spear and a dagger. Unique fighting style, I suppose. Picked up a gray, didn't I? 10.4 one hand. That is very tempting. But I really don't want to give up the experience gear right now. Even if it's a 10% boost to my level gain, that's just a higher chance that I'll have that many more levels before fighting Leoric. Fortunately, next level is the passive level, so there won't be anything exciting to really show you guys. Although I believe the passive I get has had some changes to it, so we'll look at that once I get there. Plenty of monsters here, isn't there? Alright, she keeps summoning them. There we go. And we are out of here. Done with the crypts. We have found our shattered crown and moving on back to Tristram.
You found the crown.
And while he's repairing,
New as the day it was placed upon the Black King's head. I need something more than making spades to occupy my mind. I want my life to mean something.
As you should. You will craft for me weapons with which to carry out my sacred duty. I have other news. Your apprentice is dead.
Fool boy. Hope for the worst and you will not be disappointed.
alright, I'm going to hold on to this just in case. I'm level 9, so I can actually use my shoulders now.
I worked my hands to the bone to bring you these fine.
Should have grabbed them earlier, honestly, because I'm almost level 10 already. Oh well, it's only +3 experience. In the long run, +3 is not that bad, but as you can see, even though one piece of experience gear is not a huge buff, the combination of every single item that I have right now, every slot that has equipment has +2 experience on it. It adds up very quickly. So 1, not a lot. I wasn't really missing a lot on that 3. But combine it together and it's really, really nice. So let's put that on. You can see I've kind of got additional shoulder pads. I'll just kind of take it off here. Kind of show you right around here. It's actually more on the arm there, but that's alright. Kind of completes the set, honestly. Matches the helmet. Alright.
I have the crown.
At
The skeleton.
You know what? I forgot I got Breath of Heaven and I didn't go over that with you guys. When I hit level 10, let me do that. Cause that'll be a good idea because then because all I have is passives at level 10. What? It looked at me funny. Summon the unburied. Awaken, awaken. I like how sometimes when I hit them on that third hit, you can see a skeleton stagger or a monster kind of bulk at it. So sometimes it does kind of interrupt them, interrupt their movement, possibly attacks. It's little things like that that kind of, when you think at it from an art standpoint in games, things like that, getting feedback that your hit is actually hurting that monster, you know, it's if they were to just constantly be walking at me and it never looked like that was really hurting them, the ability may not feel that strong. You know, your class may not feel that strong. Each time I hit them, when they recoil like that, it gives you a sense that that move you're hitting that monster with is actually, you know, just that strong. Like these guys, knocking them back with Lash Tail Kick, even though Lashing Tail Kick is designed to knock monsters back. There's just that feeling of overall power that you get of being a hero. You know, if I just hit the monster and he flashed, indicating I did damage, then, you know, there's not a lot of feedback there. You know, it's like, oh boy, I'm hurting them, you know. But in this case, I can say, wow, that's really tough. That's, putting the beat down on him. And then when something doesn't bulk it when I hit him, that gives you another feedback, you know. Monsters like the skeleton, he's going to get recoil a bit when I hit him, but a boss will probably not recoil, and that gives you that idea that, oh wait, this guy's tough. I might have to watch out for him. Alright, we're going to go over our passives here. Level 10. We have Resolve and Guardian's Path. Resolve is damage you deal, reduces enemy damage by 25% for 2.5 seconds, so very defensive passive. And this, of course, works great for groups as well, because it's not just you. I mean, I could put on a passive that reduces my own damage taken, but the important thing about this one is it reduces the damage done by the monster. So when I hit that monster for 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, it's going to do reduced damage to me, to pets, to party members, whatever. So that is still very useful even in a group setting. And then we have Guardian's Path. Dual wielding, you gain 15% chance to dodge incoming attacks, and while using a two-handed weapon, all spirit generation is increased by 25%. Being said, we talked about that before, where two-handed weapons will hit harder but attack slower, and because you're attacking slower, you're getting less spirit. Even with spirit generation gear, you would probably notice a distinct lack of spirit. So this is a passive designed to get you that spirit back when you're using a two-handed, and when you're dual-wielding, it gives you a little more defensive. There has been some changes here. Guardian's Path, I'll start with that. When dual-wielding, the chance to dodge was increased, actually. It used to be 10%, so it is now 15%, so that's buffed by about 50%. So even though they reduced, as you saw, some of the other defensive stuff we got, like Mantra of Evasion, this has been buffed to compensate. It's still not as strong altogether, but you're not completely gimped as far as defensive abilities are concerned. So also while using two-handed weapons of spirit generation, the bonus has been increased. It is now 25%. It used to be 20%. So about a 25% buff there. So all around buff, that's really nice. Resolve, this was nerfed by about 16%. So the enemy damage was reduced by 30% previously. It's now 25%. I'm going to go ahead, I think, and pick Guardian's Path, even though I'm using two weapons, because that gives me a chance to dodge. Both would be very defensive for me. Yeah, let's just take Guardian's Path. Okay, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and look at my other defensive ability. I'll replace Mantra of Evasion, because I still like Lashing Tail Kick. This is Breath of Heaven. 25 spirit cost, 15-second cooldown. Blast of Holy Energy heals you and all allies within 12 yards for 95 to 124 life. That, obviously, that number will change. It slides based on your level. So you will heal more as you level up. It doesn't say here, I don't think. Yes, it does. Okay, Breath of Heaven has been changed. Now, I'm not going to say whether it's been nerfed or whether it's been buffed, honestly, because it's really hard to say based on these changes. The spirit cost was reduced. It is now 25 spirit. It used to be 50. So it's not as big of a hit on your spirit bar, but it didn't have a cooldown before. So it now has a 15-second cooldown. So it's been buffed in that it costs you less spirit. It's been nerfed in the fact that it has a cooldown now. But the Blizzard patch notes say the healing amount has been increased, but they didn't give a number. Now, thanks to Diablo fans, they released numbers on that ability, and those numbers were based on the maximum level of Breath of Heaven for level 60. It appears to be about a 40% buff in the healing power. So overall, I'd say the ability has been buffed. It's less spammy and more use it when you need it. You know, you start to take damage. You don't have to worry about constantly hitting it. You know, if you and a teammate are getting really low, it's better to have an ability that heals a lot at once instead of having to constantly spam it. So I can just kind of see there, I just hit it, healed myself up a bit. I like that much better, because having to sit there and I had to do that once earlier where I was fighting the Skeleton King with my friend Thinkflight, and I got low on health because we were trying something, and he was just hitting me pretty hard. And I had to heal myself twice to get my health back up to a reasonable level. And unfortunately, he wasn't spawning a lot of skeletons, so it was hard for me to get the spirit up while avoiding his hits. Having this with a higher cooldown, or with a cooldown and well, actually, that was all patch 13 as well. So that's kind of, I'm negating my own argument there. But had it have been before this patch, actually, I did still have to heal myself twice, but that was usually enough to get me back up where I needed to be. But had it have been the way it was before this patch, I would have probably had to heal myself 3 or 4 times. Just based on the numbers here. And that would have been exceptionally hard to do. With, you know, even without a cooldown, you know, I would need the spirit. The spirit cost was higher. You know, so the spirit cost is less. There's a cooldown between it, but it heals for more. So, I mean, anything that heals for more while costing less spirit, it's okay in my book. So, there you go. You're going to see a nice flash of light. And, of course, I can't change the ability back now that it's on cooldown, but I try to show as many abilities as I can as I play.
It was Lazarus.
Did I miss anything? There's a path that way. It's fairly far over. This is only level 2. Let's the larger levels are further on, so I'll go ahead and move on from here. I have to do it. Lots of barrels. There.
Maintain your incantations. He will soon turn.
Ave Magistros. Ave Registras.
Your magic is weakening. I am free.
Now, back to my mission.
Who are you?
You will know soon. Tell me, what brought you to this infernal place?
Alright, dash. Strike. Sweep the leg!
Down this way. He's free!
Not enough spirit.
I am Cormac, warrior of the Templar Order. If it is the Skeleton King you seek, then you will have to fight your way past Jondar. There is no reason we should hunt alone.
Agreed. Let us fight together.
Finding new and unique ways to bring the environment down upon my enemies, I think is going to be one of the things I really, really look forward to in a full game.
I don't have enough spirit.
And this piercing trident is great for getting, I can, the combination is awesome. I dash strike behind an enemy, so that all of his companions are now in front of me in an arc, and I can just hit him and everything coming towards me. And because the distance is so great, I usually have a chance to kill a few before they actually get to me.
Black magic bars our way, but the will of a Templar is stronger. You were a Templar, Jondar. How could you succumb to this coven?
The Coven is my brotherhood now.
Come back here.
The powers we serve will soon rule this world.
Not enough spirit.
At least he can still be rooted. Poison Nova, huh?
Please forgive me.
No, he's called a Necromancer Betrayer, but he's supposed to be a Templar. Which leads me to think he left the Templars to study necromancy, of course, but it's nice to see that old abilities like Poison Nova in some form.
Your books have no worth to me. They are yours.
Supposedly the Diablo 2 Necromancer will be in the game.
A worthy choice.
As supposedly either that or his I've heard mixed reports. I had heard originally that it would be the Necromancer, and then I heard it was a Necromancer's apprentice. So there is that. Ooh, monster kills grant 4. What are my rings? 4 and 4. So I'll give it to him, because if he kills something, I want that additional
Fight well with that spear.
It is nothing compared to the Grand Maester.
experience. So can you use an axe? Yes, you can.
Herald of righteousness. A sharper blade.
Brilliant. We move on.